Welcome back. As we promised, our main topic is to tackle the efforts exerted by the state to support the new startups, the new entrepreneurs, the small, medium, micro, and macro projects. To shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Hanady Ragaei, Professor of Management and Human Development Expert. A very good morning to you, Professor Hanady.
Good morning to you, dear. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Doctor. And let's start immediately with the expression entrepreneurship itself. I think it's relatively a new one. I'd like to shed more light on its importance and to shed more light on the importance of SMEs in general.
Okay, entrepreneurship are important to the market economy because they can act as the wheels of the economic growth of the country by, creating new products or new service. And they simulate a new employment, which ultimately results in the acceleration of the economic development. Okay, and also we can say that the entrepreneurship is the process that leads to the creation of the SMEs wheel, and SMEs, just a firm, as we know, it's a firm of a business ventures that are being managed by individuals or owner managers, and therefore, of course, the terms of the purpose of entrepreneurship and the SMEs, it's a type of a new business, especially just with a limited budget for the owners. By the way, and this will be affect the economic very positively.
Yes, and because of this, the state is totally aware of this importance and exerting the utmost efforts to help them. How do you see these efforts, ma'am, as whether the political leadership, the president, Prime Minister Dr. Madbouli, or the concerned ministers, all are seeking the opportunities to shed light on efforts to help them and to give more incentives to them? How do you see this?
Okay, by the way, in Egypt, we have the highest rate of necessity of the entrepreneurship among the countries of a similar economic development level, as we have 42.4% of the earlier stage entrepreneurship started their business due to the absence of the other work alternatives, okay? Where the global rate of the necessity is driven, maybe entrepreneurship is 25%. And we can say that the government or the Dr. Mustafa Benbili successfully established many incubators of providing a stepping stone for the local entrepreneurship Bidaya, which is Technology Innovations and Entrepreneurship Center, TIEC, and also Fikretak, Shirketak are the top incubators founded by the government, offering funding for new innovative ideas. And also we can say that the government help the startup business, like in SMEs projects and so ever, by that they can help to save money from the taxes. They can also use the reinvest in their business, that the government helps them according to taxes. And when the taxes limit is become low, that helps the SMEs owners to save little bit of money that they can generate it again during their projects.
Yes, and this is to say that the state is trying all the time to make the environment that suitable and that encouraging for the new businessmen or the new entrepreneurship, the new startups to have the courage to start and to start their career in a way that with which they guarantee that they are going to be supported by all means by the state. Would you please, I'd like to shed more light on the best environment for new entrepreneurships.
Okay, the best, first of all, we need a market promotions or market scheme. This will help very much to, start them ready for their projects. Okay, this is, and then we need an expert forum, like a market experts who can help these people how to start their company. We can shade on some of the media. It can also guide the new businessmen or the startup companies owners how they can start. We need some facilities regarding the Central Bank of Egypt, for example. The regulations have to be a little bit, يعني not too much for these people to achieve their objectives. And also, we can mention that the product or the service that it has to be submitted during their business, the market, they have to be sure. They have to be sure that the market needs these services and products. That's why we can support them with a little bit of market surveys, which help them also to start their business, and they gain the profit that they are looking for.
And I'd like also to continue with the word competitiveness, or this term. The competitive skills we do have are great. We do have a lot of potentials. And another term which is sustainability. To achieve sustainable development is a goal in itself. I know it's a very long road, a very long journey, but what about the steps taken to achieve both our use or benefit from our competitive skills and achieve the sustainable development, or to continue with the sustainable development process?
Okay, first of all, we need the science. If we are talking about the competitiveness skills, actually each people who are trying to start their business, they need the science. What do I mean with the science? They need to learn about how to start their business at the beginning, and they have to read properly. Maybe they can also enter to have some certificates to understand accurately how to start their business, and then we can talk about, for the experts people, they can also make like a seminar, and they start to guide these people who would like to start their business to have their competitiveness skills during this huge and aggressive, I have to say it's an aggressive environment, because nowadays maybe most the young people, they are looking for, Dr. Hanady, we are looking to open my own business. I'm looking to open my own business. But to start this, he has to understand how to start the feasibility study for for his business. Do you have a budget to start it? And how can I get this, cash flow for me? And a lot of science, he has to be ready for this. And then also, the sustainability comes from, if I am doing, just psychologically, if I'm starting my own business and I'm really convinced that this is my career and I need to grow up about this, and I have the passion to start and continue in my business, this will make him, stand up and start very strong. But unfortunately, sometimes sometimes they are just copy and paste. I couldn't find a job, and there is no proper opportunity for me and for my skills. I will start my business. And it's not only that you have to make sure that you start and continue, or as we said, there is a sustainable plan for me. So the arms of this, first of all, he has to be sure that he has a budget. He has the people that he will work. He has to study the market properly, and that make sure that the customer segmentations, which segment I have to target it, and do I have the product or the service that my customer really they need it. Okay, I have to check the economic situation in Egypt if he's gonna start his business in Egypt. And right now, there is an inflation, and that makes everything is upside down. We have to make sure before we.
But inflation and the global economic crisis, it's a global. It's something which we can find, or we are facing all over the world, with many reasons behind it. But I'd like to focus on many important points you have mentioned, Dr. Hanady, regarding the human being, regarding the one behind the whole issue. Here comes the importance of education, of awareness, of thinking out of the box, of taking into consideration that every step counts, of having this flexibility in thinking to be able to amend or to correct any mistake on the way. I'd like you, if you please, to elaborate on the terms or the points I've mentioned right now.
Okay, regarding the education, let me say that we need to understand the strategy. From the strategic management perspective, here we have to understand which type of business you want to start. So the education, yes, he has to, first of all, train himself first and understand what's the vision and mission and what's the value you need it in your organization. Accordingly, he will starting to, find the potential people who is matching this business.
Yeah.
So from where I can get these people, and what is the strategy? Do you need to grow in the market, or you want to there's a lot of type of strategy. So he has to put his objective in front of his eyes and to start to say, I want to be centralization or diversifications, or you need to be just in the local market, or you need to go outside. This is very, very important. So the owner of this business, he has to understand that the strategy that he will put it to himself, it will take minimum, 5 years. So after the 5 years, what you gonna do? You wanna do to expand in all over the Egypt or outside the Egypt, or you need to be as you are. And this is named in strategic that no change. Some people they like to make their business according to SMEs, and they do prefer to be a small business, and he doesn't want to grow. And this is his strategy. So we have to respect this. So that's why the education comes, from university. He can read, he can find the expertise to start this business, and train the people and the human people about this. Because sometimes the young people, they just found it as oh my God, it's a fashion. So me too, I'm gonna have my business, and this is very critical and risky. So we need financial arm, we need a human arm, you need a risky arm. So that's why it has to be a little bit slow motion steps before you take the first step, because maybe in the middle of this journey, he can fall down. And this is what we are not looking for.
Amen to that. But here I think comes the importance of fruitful collaboration and coordination between the public and private sector, CSR, or corporate social responsibility. When we do have a share by the big companies giving training or vocational training to the youth to enable them to fill this gap between theory and practice, to form their way of thinking, to let them be open to new horizons and to invade new markets. I think that this is also part and parcel of our development process, if you agree with me on that.
Yes, I agree with you. As we have, first of all, the private sectors and the public sector, we need to understand that regarding the SMEs, we have 5 categories of these projects: technical, hybrid, interactionist, functional, and functional. For this, we can divide it by these names, okay? And then, do we have a training center that can provide these people with these courses or workshops about? Yes, we do have, and the governmental sectors is supporting with a lot of, training courses about this, and the private sector as a training centers. After the training, sometimes the issue is not in the training. It is, do you have the passion, or you are here just to copy your friend? This is the issue. And from where you're going to start, as I said before, he has to get the product, the segment, and a lot of info. And also he has to train himself about the business that he wants to work about. Maybe he choose a business that it's very famous and there is a market share or the market growth, the competitors in the market, and could be a one that's not successful chosen. So that's why the private sector and the public sectors, yes, there is a big collaboration and contributions between each other to train the people to be ready and to start their own business.
Also, when I'm speaking about the SMEs, I don't know why the very first thing to come to my mind is an exhibition like Turathuna, for example, and how it was a very successful event. The crafts, the handmade products, and the Egyptian artists, the Egyptian craftsmen, who were very much showing their talents in such an event. Of course, held by the state, and it's going to be, I think, something which we all look for and we all wait a year after the other. How do you see the importance of the crafts, of the handmade products, of the very small projects, which are all the time saying that we will find everywhere in Egypt, in the remote areas, in the villages, in the countryside, people who are going to amaze us with their talents and with their products.
Okay, the craft products, it wasn't amazing, as you mentioned, and we had a little bit, a period of in our life, all the Egyptians, it comes slow down, the curve is coming down, according that people, they do not appreciate this craft or handmade. But actually, maybe before 2 or 3 years, the governmental sectors and the public sectors, they started by the government pushing these areas, especially in Luxor and Aswan, the product for the Egyptian handmade. No, we have a big, support from the government and from many ministries about the craft. And we need also to shadow the light about this in our media regarding the education. I hope really, and this it starts, by the way, in Egypt, to support the handmade and the craft schools, the people who are potential in this area. And that's why, so there is, some technicians, I couldn't mention the name, it's regarding here in Egypt, the people or the guys who are graduating from these institutes. It's just similar like the engineers who are graduated from faculty of engineering, but with a limited, experience or a limited education for something like, power and electronic part. And there is also the crafts. They are starting for the furniture, the handmade carpets. No, I guess that the government is, supporting this area very well, and we need also little bit some, promotions, the market, the media start to let the people knows about this schools and about this education.
So, regarding the awareness of the people, or regarding, let's say, the culture of SMEs as of very much importance regarding our development. Do we have this culture of knowing well the importance of SMEs? Of course, the national projects, the huge national projects are very important, and they are now part and parcel of the new Egypt, the new republic. But regarding the SMEs, they are not less important. Do we have this culture? Do we have this vision?
Actually, the culture is still, they are not, they don't have this full awareness about this, except the people who are, by the way, the people, the youth who is studying the post-grad, like, MBAs or doctor, PhD, they know about the SMEs. And still our Egyptian cultures, they do prefer their kids to just complete the university, and after that they have to find a job, a proper job with a proper, salary. But by the way, I found some of the segment in our Egyptian people with the different cultures, they can accept it. But the awareness, no, we couldn't reach the 100% of awareness about this.
So this is the role of the media, this is the role
Yes.
of even social media, because now a statement or a page can go viral on social media outlets. It's the role of the NGOs, for example, of the volunteers who are there, because now we do have the culture of volunteering to reach the rural areas, to be part and parcel of Decent Life initiative, for example, to spread this awareness.
I think maybe, yes, we can just say that the media and all this, they have to, just guide the culture in Egypt. All the human capital, as I mentioned, they are just looking for the routine steps that we use to make it. And still, our culture, they are refusing this type of project. That's why the education way in the universities, It has to be a little bit, they have webinars. We have to check about the people, how they are, the famous names that they have a success story regarding the SMEs. So the awareness, as we mentioned, as in human capital in any organization or in any population, to change the culture, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Because it's a culture, it's something very old, coming from the history, So that's why we have to be a little bit patient, and
But we
we
are
never
moving
stop.
forward. We
Yes.
stepped many steps on the right path. One final question, Dr. Hanady. As I mentioned, Decent Life. Decent Life initiative, our presidential initiative, which targets millions of Egyptians to raise their standard of living and to make their life better. It includes a lot of issues. It's a panoramic view, let's say so. And one of the important issues of Decent Life initiative is to encourage the women, particularly the youth, to invade new markets and to start their new lives. If you agree with me on that.
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you something. Looking at the Egyptian SMEs, we have been growing since 1990s, and SMEs are defined by Egyptian law also as the entrepreneur whose the capital range from maybe 50,000 to 1 million with a maximum of 50 employees. Okay, so if we can find this in our Egyptian law contributions and the promotions, yes, we can be moving forward by the the government is trying to help because all we are looking for the better financial situations and self-actualizations, and we need to improve ourselves and the employment. So that's why our vision and our culture starts moving forward. Accordingly, not all the guys now being sad that he couldn't find a job, or the unemployment these days, unfortunately, is little bit coming raised up and increased. That's why we are looking. We can mention that the SMEs project, yes, it is moving forward, and we hope to be more and more coming days.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yes.
Now, I think the Egyptians' dreams and ambitions are endless. We do not have a ceiling anymore. Dr. Hanady Ragaei, Professor of Management and Human Development Expert, thank you very much for your input. Have a very good day. We are going to continue with our breakfast show, and we are going to be back with more, so stay tuned.